So one day I decided that I wanted to make a stand for my digital recorder thing. It's an R09 and Edirol, looks like this. So I did some basic measurements on it and then set about modelling it. So this is the process. Okay, this is the model of the R09. We're going to look at it from the top, and the model consists of a sort of central section and then two end parts. So we'll do the central section first, which is a box, just for a change, and it's going to be 28 by 38. 28 tab 38 tab 102 high. Okay, doesn't look very much like my R09, but that's the central part, and then there's bits on the side here and here. So we'll do those bits next. Look down from the top, and these parts are 28 by 13, and there's two of them. 28 by 13. By the same height. And I need to snap that to that. Control C, Control V, I'll duplicate that. Put one of these over here, and then snap it into place again. Snap that face onto that face. Okay, now the reason I've done that is that I'm going to tweak these corners in a little bit, and my measurements imply that they're going to go in by 5.5 millimeters on this edge. So I'm going to look at it. Ooh. From over here, that's what I wanted to do. And this edge here is going to be tweaked. And I keep doing that wrong. Okay, so I want this to go in by 5.5, and select the solid, select the edge, tweak, .5, do it again, that looks a bit more like the R09. It's got some gentler curves on it, but that's approximately the right sort of shape. So we'll stick those parts together, and then we'll put a slightly better fillet on the edges. I think it's E. Yeah. How's that look? As I'm looking at the device itself, that's not bad. I'm going to do the same on the edges over here. It's approximately the sort of shape. around the bottom and the top a little bit. Now I'm not going to bother doing an accurate representation of the microphones on the top because these corners are sort of chopped out and there's a microphone sticking in there and so forth, but that part won't have any effect on the stand that I'm making for it because all of that's a long way away from the stand. So for the purpose of having a simple model to offer up to the other part, which I'm going to actually design, then that's an adequate model of the item. So that's an R09 recorder. Now the only other dimension that I've got which is really important is I don't want to go any further than 14mm up on the front of the unit or at the sides, because there's a DC power input on the side and 14mm would be pushing it. You could foul that connector, and if it's higher than 14mm you'll get in the way of the controls on the front here. So there's a definite limitation to how high I'm prepared to go there. So next, basically what I could do is the easy cheat technique. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take this device, I'm going to scale it up. Well, actually I'll save first of all. Okay, we have saved the R09 model, and now we're going to make a couple of copies of it, and there we go, lovely. And we're going to scale out a bit and we're going to make a copy. Control C, Control V, and so that's the original R09. This is a copy. We're going to scale up this copy, and the reason for that is we want this R09 model to fit in a hole which is slightly larger than it, so that we're going to use this volume here to subtract from other things to make that hole. So we select the item, we select scale, and now we want to increase the dimension of each of these X and Y dimensions by approximately 1mm, because that's the sort of tolerance that I need when I'm printing to make sure it sits nicely in the hole. So we need to know what factor to multiply it by, and there's a very convenient formula which I'll show on the screen now. So this is the general formula, and we want to increase it by 1mm in each dimension. So here's the specifics on the screen now, and so I want to increase the 28mm dimension by a factor of 1.0357. So that's 28mm that way. Let's just confirm if that's X. No, it's not. It's definitely not. So that is the 28mm measurement, and so we want 1.0357, and that was the Y, which was 1.0156. Click on it, and now we're going to have a quick measure just to make sure. So use the ruler, going to measure from this face to this face, and it's approximately 65mm long that way. Good, that's what we want. And from this face to this face, it's approximately 29mm. Good, exactly what we want. And now we're going to do the same thing again. Control C, Control V. And we're going to scale this one up because we wish to get an outline for the wall of the holder. So here's a sketch of the holder, and you can see that the R09 is this part, and the wall would be out here, and we would like the wall to be 2 millimeters thick, so we need to add 4 millimeters to each of these dimensions. So we're going to scale, non-uniform, and I've got to remind myself which is which. That's the 29 millimeter dimension. So 29 millimeters plus 4 would be 1.1379, and this would be 1.0615. 1.0615. Click on it. Let's confirm. That is nominally 65 long. I want this to be nominally 69 long. From there to... Ooh. Yes, 69 is close enough. And from there to there, I'm expecting it to be 29 plus 4 should be 33. Nominally 33, that's good. Okay. Not doing too badly so far. Now I'm going to look at it straight on the edge, and I'm just going to take a slice out of this thing. First of all, make another copy. I notice I make a lot of copies of the parts I'm working on. It makes it very easy to go back if you do make a mistake. Okay, I'm going to draw a line across here. On this face here, I'm just going to make a rectangle, which is a slice of this part, and then I'm going to take this part and I'm going to split it and use this rectangle to split it. Like that. So we've got, this thing's got sort of chopped in a little bit here. I'm going to take that. Right. That profile is going to be very useful. I want that to be the sort of size of the outline of the wall. So next I'm going to look on the... What I want to do is to project that onto the base to make a sketch. So you go along to project. Now this, first of all, is asking me to click on the sketch plane, which is there, at the bottom. And now it wants me to select faces, edges or vertexes to project onto that. So we're going to select these items to give me my outline. That's slightly awkward. I didn't want that to happen. Okay, we'll say okay to that. I don't want these sketches now in my way. I need to project again. Now this is useful. I need to project onto this sketch. And I need to project this line. Say okay. And now this is one item. It's one sketch I've made, which is the exact cross section that we wish the holder to be. So next we need some sort of oval, for example, for the base. And we'll some sort of oval over here, I think. I don't know how to do ovals. I'm a bit confused, but we'll work something out. Click there, something about so wide by about so long, perhaps. How will that work out? Okay, I'm going to delete that oval. I don't like it. And hide that so it's not in the way. This is very useful. Look at it down from the top. What I want to do is to take this and move it. I want to move it up in the air. 20 millimeters is good, and I want to actually move it along as well. So I've got somewhere to work. Look at it from the top. Make sure this thing is not selected, and then I'm going to start drawing some lines. First of all, I'm going to position this in a place where it doesn't hide the grid from me. I don't know why it does that. It's very infuriating. Try again, shall we? So that is a pulley line, and next I'm going to use some splines to connect to that pulley line. So I'm going to click on the pulley line, and the first point is there. Okay, so I've now made a base. It's an ugly base and it's not quite what I want, so we're going to move things around a bit. That's approximately what we want. And what I would like to see would be this thing here. I would like to see angled back by 20 degrees. Okay, so that would be the base of the thing. That will be the part which gets extruded up to make the holder. It's quite far up as well, so we'll lower it down a bit, I think. Doesn't need to be that high. Look at it from the side. We'll lower it down a bit. Move it back a bit. That could look quite nice, couldn't it? And now we'll do a loft, which is get the thing to draw a solid between those two sketches. So that's the first sketch, that's the second sketch. That's the geometry of our base. Looks quite nice. Now we're going to extrude this face a bit. Say 20 millimeters, 15 millimeters. No, I'm going to do it by 10. I'm going to press save. Okay, this is the geometry we've created. It's not symmetrical, I've just noticed. Look, we've got this strange thing with a line here, and it's superimposed with a sketch. Let's move it out of the way first of all, shall we? We'll click on that, click move. It's over there. Now you can see these lines aren't symmetrical here, so what I want to do is to hide the sketches because they're getting on my nerves. And I want to draw a line down the middle of this thing and mirror the nice half for the ugly half. And so we start off by drawing a line that we will use for the mirroring process. Now, next we're going to slice the thing in two down that line. So we go for the split solid, that's the item, splitting entity is the line. Okay, and we'll move this half out of the way. And then we're going to mirror this part. So the solid is this half, the mirror plane is this line. So that should be nominally what we want. Geometry isn't quite as ugly as that half. So let's glue these two halves together. Okay, so that's one item. And we lose this line. Don't need it there. I don't know if this will take a fillet. There's quite a sharp angle in there, sometimes that doesn't work. I'll press A, see what it says. No, it's not going to give us that ability. Let's try that again, just in case we can persuade it. No. No, I can't do anything with that. It won't let me. Well, it'll do. I don't need this thing to be really pretty, I just need it to work. Now, one of these volumes down here is the one which is slightly bigger than the actual. So that's the unit, this is the volume we're going to subtract from this. Let's just do one quick measurement to confirm. From this face to this one, should be 65 if I remember correctly. 65, good. Okay, this is the volume that we're going to subtract. Let's paint it red so we can remember that. So that's the actual R09, that's the volume we're going to subtract. I'll make a copy of this. Control C, Control V, move it off to one side. Okay, we've got two of them. This one I'm going to move to a more useful place where we can do something with it. the snap to something useful. Right, that doesn't look too bad. That's about the right position there. Looks about the right position there. I could live with that. Okay. That is a copy of that, so I can use this one to make a hole in this. So that's what we'll do now. We will subtract. I've got a low battery alarm on the recorder. Okay, let's make this quick. Do that, keep that, subtract that, do that. Okay, I'm going to press save on this video before my audio packs in. So the next thing I want to do is I want to extend this back edge up a little bit, and to do that I'm going to look at it from the top and draw a couple of lines along here. And to do that, what I do is I draw some lines on the bed in the sort of place which is approximately there, and I'll draw another one approximately there, and then I'm going to split the face, this face here, and the splitting entity will be this line, and I want to split the face again. And that's the face, and the splitting entity is that line. That's just that face that's been split, okay? And that means that this surface here can be extruded, if I'm correct. That sort of thing. 20 millimeters, I think. And then I'm going to put a fillet in these corners, pressing shift to do more than one at once. And do that again on the back. Okay, that's the sort of thing. I think that's going to be a good enough depth. Not entirely certain. Let's have a look. Just have a measure between that line and that line. It's 13 millimeters. I said 14 was the maximum depth. Yeah, that'll do. I think that's going to be alright. That is my ugly R09 stand. That's just about the whole job. Next I'm going to do save again. Right, during saving it I realised I hadn't in fact finished, and the reason is because that goes down to a razor thin edge down there and I want some thickness. So what I need to do is to extrude this bottom surface. So I need to press U for extrude, select the edge, select extruded by 2mm, press OK, get this and drop it so it goes up so it's sat on the top. So that's the basic shape of it, and hopefully I'll be able to just fillet that edge a little bit. Not at all. What about 2? What about 1? Okay, you're just not going to play this time, are you? Rotten sod. Okay, well at least now it's got some thickness to it, and that is ready for export. So I'm going to press save again. First of all, let's export it, shall we? And bring up Cura and have a look in Cura, see what it looks like. That's what Cura reckons it to it. Two hours 4 minutes at 50mm per. Let's try 30mm per. See if I can get a nicer finish to it. Takes a little while to finish the visualization of the toolpath. So, what's it look like? Not too bad. 2 hours 20 minutes or thereabouts. Yeah, I think I'm going to print that while I'm preparing lunch, and then I'll get some video of that, and then hopefully finish editing up this video. It fits! Yes. Perfect. Okay, so here we go. It's by no means perfect, but it'll do. All I need. You'll notice it's a little bit wobbly. I'll put some packing in the bottom, and that's because the bottom of the R09 is actually curves up at these corners here. It's a little bit high in the middle. I hadn't noticed that, but a little bit of packing in the bottom 2 corners will enable that to sit alright. And that's all I need, so I didn't have to lie flat on the bench, and it doesn't have to balance on its end and wobble about and fall over. Perfect.